Hello, this is Kyrasis, and in this mechanics video, we'll be explaining how armor damage reduction works and a few implications associated with the mechanic. Armor isn't overly complicated, but the game doesn't do the best job at explaining what is going on with it, and there are some weird aspects and calculations associated with armor, which I hope you will have a better understanding of after this video. In total, this video will review the basic calculations associated with armor. It will explain how the K value works. It will talk about how armor diminishes relative to other stats, and it will quickly go over the armor cap. We'll get started with the basic calculations. Outside of a small number of unique effects, the only thing that armor does for you is reduce the amount of incoming physical damage you are taking by the following formula, with your armor divided by your armor plus a value called K. While your armor value is fairly straightforward, since it's something that is directly on gear, the K value is not. This is mostly because the value of K changes depending on the content you are doing. For example, specifically for patch 10.0, here are the K values for Mythic Plus and all difficulties of Raid. Furthermore, when we move from patch 10.0 to patch 10.1, most, if not all of these values will increase. For example, the Mythic Raid K value for patch 10.0 will very likely be the normal Raid K value in patch 10.1, which means the K value is constantly increasing over time. So, why does Blizzard do this? While I don't think Blizzard has ever made any official comments on the changing K values, we can make some educated guesses as to why they do this regardless. First of all, the K value also affects block and stagger mechanics. And while we are not covering these topics right now, these are also mechanics that affect incoming physical damage more than incoming magical damage. Second, the way Blizzard adjusts the K value roughly means that we are reaching the same levels of physical damage reduction from patch to patch, assuming similar gear quality. As such, the main thing the K value changes control is the effectiveness of physical damage mitigation relative to magic damage mitigation. In a world with a constant K value, players would only gain more and more physical mitigation over time, while incoming magic damage would become much more dangerous by comparison. So, as a result of these changes, the developers can assume that the relative effectiveness of magic and physical damage types will stay the same for both PvE and PvP content, which is one less thing for the game developers to worry about, and it lets them make certain assumptions when tuning new content. In any case, another way to think about K value is that it is equal to the amount of armor rating you would need to achieve 50% physical damage reduction. The graph below shows how much physical damage reduction you would gain if your armor rating was equal to a multiple of K. And, as you can see, the amount of physical damage reduction we get from armor sees diminishing returns with the more armor rating that we have. However, I think there is some value in explaining how armor diminishes in value as you get more. If you've seen my video on secondary stat diminishing returns, you will have seen this slide before. The point of it was to explain what I call natural diminishing returns, where fixed percentage increases in bonus damage from versatility, for this example in particular, naturally get devalued over time the more you have of the rating, because an additional 1% increase to your versatility multiplier results in a smaller relative increase in damage the more versatility you already have. Visually, you can see this relationship play out in the following graph of the relative damage increase of an additional 1% versatility given your existing versatility bonus. This is going to be relevant to the current video soon, so just keep this in mind for now. Now, instead of looking at physical damage reduction from armor, another way to look at armor is in terms of the extra physical effective hit points it provides, which can be calculated as seen. While you are free to do the math yourself, the main takeaway here is that every additional K armor rating will give you an additional 100% physical effective health compared to your baseline physical effective health without armor. Or, if we want to shrink the scale to make it more comparable to the versatility bonus damage example, if you gain armor rating equal to 1% of the K value, you will gain an additional 1% physical effective HP. So, returning to our versatility example with natural diminishing returns, you can very easily substitute in armor and bonus physical effective health, like I'm going to do right now, and the diminishing returns relationship remains exactly the same as it was with versatility. And so, armor follows the same natural diminishing returns just like secondary stats if we compare them side by side, and using the same scales, as can be seen in these two graphs side by side. Of course, this is not counting the fact that the secondary stats do get affected by an additional diminishing return system if you have too much rating in a single stat. Armor, on the other hand, doesn't have a special penalty system like secondary stats, but you do stop benefiting from additional armor once you have 85% physical damage reduction, which you would obtain if your armor rating was equal to around 5.7 times the K value. The cap isn't too relevant for most tank specializations, though there have been times where some tank specializations have been able to reach it. In conclusion, we talked about the calculations relating to armor, we explained what is going on with the K value, we talked about how armor has the same natural rate of diminishing returns as most secondary stat bonuses, and we mentioned that armor is capped at 85% damage reduction. If you would like to make it easier for other people to find this content, feel free to upvote this video or subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like to see in the future, or if you have any opinions of your own about armor, I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments below. I can usually respond to any question that shows up in the comments. I can also be contacted through Discord, and my information can be found in the video description below. In the meantime, good luck and have fun.